Our special report is on the order granted today, the ruling very early today by an Ibadan magistrate court ordering the Nigerian Correctional Service to keep in remand the former Queen Consort Olori Naomi, the former wife of the Supreme Monarch in Yoruba land, the successor to the legacy and heritage of the progenitor of the Yorubas. Some people look at him as the king priest or honing the spectre to a royal priesthood, that is the Arole Oodua or Ooni of Ife, or Jaja, the Oba Ogunwusi Adeyeye. So his former Olori Naomi was ordered by an Ibadan magistrate court to to be kept in remand by Nigerian Correctional Service this morning. Also slammed behind the bars for the meantime is the well-known radio, TV, social media sensation, Mr. Hamzat Oriyomi of Agidigbo, a radio and television outlet in Ibadan, Nigeria. And then the principal of the school where the palliative stampede that took the lives of close to 35 children, where that event took place in Ibadan. The principal has also been ordered to be kept in the cooler for the meantime. Now, what is the undercurrent of the unfolding matter before the Ibadan Magistrate Court? From our independent, exclusive investigations, it looks like Mr. Hamzat Oriyomi may have so much trouble waiting for him, because now it is almost looking as if he is the man that really stoked the factor concerning greed in the distribution of the palliatives that led to the unfortunate tragedy. Number one, when the event was supposed to be, was going to be staged originally, and without him seeking permission from all appropriate authorities, including Oshifri, the Nigerian police, he approached the principal of that school directly, and the principal declined from our investigation, and it was put in white and black, ink on paper. The principal allegedly wrote Mr. Hamzat Oriyomi saying he was not in the best position to grant permission for the use of the school premise where the palliatives were supposed to be distributed. But Mr. Hamzat Oriyomi is suspected of now behaving as if he is above authority because of his perceived closeness to the governor of Oyo State, Mr. or Engineer Seyi Makinde. But engineer cannot be a title. I don't know why people love to call people, but love to.
This is Nigeria. Continue.
Yeah, Mr. Seyi Makinde, with due respect, the executive governor of Oyo State. So it is, it is speculated, because we love to view all this with some measure of circumspection, that Mr. Oriyomi is given to influence peddling, particularly always dangling in the face of people his closeness and the association with the governor of Oyo State and the ruling party in the state, the PDP. Now, when he was told that he should approach the State Ministry of Education, he never did. And then he was said to have sold the idea of issuing tickets for potential or prospective attendees, people who would be coming for the event. It was said that the entire agenda to use ticket as means of entry for the event was solely conceived by him and sold to the former Queen Consort Olori Naomi. Now, as a result of this, while Naomi's organization, Charity, had intended reaching out to about 5,000 beneficiaries, potential beneficiaries, Mr. Hamzat said, or was allegedly set a time frame that a ticket would be issued starting from 5 a.m. But unfortunately, he himself did not arrive on time. So the anticipation, the anxiety, and what have you, drove people beyond ordinary expectation. And so when he eventually arrived around 8:30, he himself was said to have scheduled the issuing of tickets for 5 a.m., but he never showed up. He never showed up until around 8:30 a.m., by which time people were already agitated, exacerbated. So immediately they saw, people got wind of his presence around 8:30. Then the whole stampede began. All hell was loose. It became an affair in which the falcon could not listen or could not hear the falconer. The center never held. Mere anarchy was upon the scene. And then blood, tears, attendant sorrow for an entire nation. So more than what Mr. Hamzat Oriyomi loved the world to believe, he is seen as the man who pulled the strings from all sides. And then when the tragedy struck, it was so easy for him to want to make very artful escape by saying he too was, by claiming that he too was a victim in the whole thing. But today, some reprieve. But one thing must be said, the way the authorities in Nigeria are so quick now to want to make people answer for the avoidable loss of life, that kind of excitement was not seen when ministers, particularly Abba Moro, had the scandal of getting prospective Nigerian youth who had expressed interest in picking forms to serve in the immigration service when they were, when they were sent to their early graves because of chaos and disorganization. You will remember that when the military administration came to Nigeria, 31st December 1983, part of their integrated approach to enforcing discipline, regimental discipline in Nigeria, was to walk people into line, to imbibe the culture of lining up, whether at bus stations, for any public function. But all that is now has disappeared. So after the Ibadan tragedy of this last 1.5 weeks, another tragedy at the Catholic Church Charity in Abuja. Another one happened in Okija, southeastern Nigeria. So our report is that people know more than they are willing to own up. How about the culpability? Let us call it culpable homicide on the part of the government of Nigeria. Yeah, the president had a media chat yesterday. I don't want to delve into that fully yet. And he was virtually in denial. And he even bragged about the fact that for more than 25 years, he's been giving palliatives. There was no death. But that does not mean that there was no chaos in the way people scamper to get the largesse coming by way of palliatives. It has happened during Islamic festivals in some known government houses up north in Nigeria, everywhere. Nigeria seems to be a country under siege because of our inability as individuals, as citizens, to want to have attitudinal discipline in the way we approach patronage for social amenities or distribution of things that are supposed to assuage the feeling of hunger all over the land. It cannot, or there is no better way to put this across, that this is an open sore of a nation that is in such a desperate struggle to give its best, to serve assurances that the black race is not hopeless. For how long will this continue? Nobody can say. But there is that choice, that the way we do not like to take, that is being orderly, knowing fully well that nobody has to apply the dried hide, koboko, on anybody's back before we know that it is good for existential purposes to always be at our best behavior while patronizing things that are meant to improve our quality of life. Our report.
Well, that's kind of sad. That whole story is sad. So I'm actually still unpacking it, but thank you so much for sharing that with us on today's.
Oh, yes. And it will interest you to know that beyond the perceived heroic and the heroic show that Mr. Hamzat Oriyomi put up in tackling the ritual murder situation involving Prince Adedoyi, the reputed Ile-Ife prince, owner of private institutions, in the killing of Mr. Timothy Adegoke, getting justice, pursuing the matter to a logical conclusion and getting justice, so much so that the High Court in Osun State was able to hand a death penalty to the suspected mastermind of that unfortunate incident. Beyond all that, there is this allegation, litany of allegations against Mr. Hamzat Oriyomi on how he loves to push influence on the face of people, on his characteristic arrogance. When you call his phone, he's always going to first, allegedly, I've never called his phone and I have no cause to call his line. But for people who have had one thing or the other to do with him, he would always ask, so how did you tell me how you got this number? If you are operating in the eye of the public, such as a media personality, why would you want to ask such a question, other than you feeling that now you have arrived, you are too big to be approached by the public, for which you act as a medium? Another issue is people who claim that they solicited adverts and all kinds of patronage for Mr. Hamzat Oriyomi, only for him to want to threaten to blackmail them with the larger than life presence of his media organization. That is not the essence of being a media owner or being a journalist or being a broadcaster. As a matter of fact, it behoves on any of us who hold any of these platforms as a sacred trust to be humble and approachable. So I won't say much now because it looks as if it's facing some trials. But when this is over, it looks like we are going to also have to hold him to account. He has to explain some of the issues that have been traced to him. Of course, part of what is being said now is that he may not enjoy the protection of the governor of Oyo State because the governor's Man Friday, his good friend, one Mr. Sheye, is said to also be angry with Hamzat Oriyomi for reasons that we may not want to disclose for now. But as events unfold, we intend to stay on the news and make sure that the public is not denied the opportunity of a full account of his involvement and how he got himself entangled. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you so much. Please join the conversation in the chat as we're getting through the show. I want to say Merry Christmas to Natu. Natu, shout out to you. So yeah, we're gonna continue the show. Hit the like button, share, subscribe, follow, turn up your notifications so you're notified when we go live. We have some other trending news around the world. We'll be right back.